Good morning. Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop, live with you each and every weekday morning here. It is Thursday, the final day of July, and at least in central Illinois, we're getting a little bit of break of that from that heat. So we're looking at like a high of 78 or something here in central Illinois today. It's after dealing with 90-plus degrees. Ugh. All right, so we got some stuff to tackle. Busy day here. We've actually got several events we're going to be covering today. Governor J.B. Pritzker is going to be holding a bill signing ceremony to bring about universal mental health screenings for schools in Illinois. So we'll hear what the governor has to say on that today later on. So we'll revisit that tomorrow morning. Just giving you an idea of the stuff we've got on our table today. So the governor's doing that. You've also got Republicans who are going to be holding a virtual news conference today, dealing with DCFS and accountability for what they say are continued failures of the Pritzker administration to protect the state's most vulnerable, that being children that are in the foster care system or who are considered wards of the state. So we'll hear about that as well a little bit later on today. Again, these are events that are happening today that we're covering, just giving you an idea of just how busy of a day it is. There's also a House committee hearing in the Illinois House Executive Committee to look at Chicago public school financing. That as well is happening today. Plus, we've got the Illinois State Fair Preview Day, the news conference they have every year before the State Fair, outlining what's going to be at the State Fair. So that actually starts August 7th through the 17th, I believe. So there's going to be a lot of activity in Springfield at the fairgrounds. And we'll get a taste of that for the news conference that's going to be happening a little bit later on today as well. So that's actually a preview of some of the things we're going to talk about tomorrow, because those are things happening today. But what we're going to tackle here with Illinois in Focus is a big push to show what kinds of insurance rates are the product of insurers using zip codes or credit ratings or even age. So you have Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias yesterday holding a news conference that he wants to change the way it's done in Illinois. And we reached out to Republican State Senator Terry Bryant, and she shared her thoughts on what these types of regulations for auto insurers could mean for the auto insurance industry. But before that, a big push for a public service campaign, public service announcements that the Illinois Department of Public Health, the IDPH, is joining with the Brady campaign to raise awareness about the state's red flag laws. And in particular, you have Karina's Law, which passed in the lame duck session earlier this year in January to require police confiscate firearms from individuals who have a order of protection against them. And opponents of the bill saying it lacks due process. We'll break that out a little bit as well. So it's right here with Illinois in Focus Daily, waking up with you each and every weekday morning here as we break down things for you to know to get your day started so you can get on to work and leave it in our hands to keep you posted of what's going on at the Illinois State House and beyond. All right, it's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and wake up with us each and every weekday morning with the Center Square here on YouTube. It's Illinois in Focus Daily. The Illinois Department of Public Health is joining with others, including the Ad Council and the Brady campaign, to bring the Pause to Heal public service announcements across the states in many different platforms Let's talk about it here with Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Wake up with us each and every weekday morning here with the Center Square. You can go to thecentersquare.com to get the headlines in your inbox. Just click on the subscribe button. It's free. You can get those headlines each and every weekday morning. But of course, come to YouTube, where here with the Center Square, we bring you Illinois in Focus Daily each and every weekday morning, including segments of the show here on YouTube. And if you can't catch the show live, there's the replay you can access here on YouTube, but you can also get the show in podcast form anywhere you get podcasts. So just search Illinois in Focus and you'll find it. All right, let's get into this. I talked with Christian Heine. He is Brady's Chief Programs and Policy Officer. Had a conversation with him yesterday afternoon, and he explained what the campaign's all about.
Yeah, well, thanks so much. We are incredibly excited to be here today with you to talk about the launch of the latest ads that we have in partnership with the Illinois Department of Public Health and the Ad Council to really try to spread the word and raise awareness of Illinois' Extreme Risk Protection Order, which is known as the Firearms Restraining Order in Illinois. These are tools that are designed to temporarily separate individuals who are at a heightened risk of dangerous behavior, whether or not that's a risk of self-harm or firearm suicide, or even interpersonal violence or mass shootings. These are tools that have been proven to be really effective at separating these individuals who are at imminent risk from their ability to purchase and possess firearms, so that we can really get them the help they need. The core tenet of this campaign is that we want to prevent tragedies from occurring before they ever happen or take place. And we also want to sort of create space for people to get help that they otherwise wouldn't have. So we're really incredibly excited here at Brady about this partnership and the latest phase of this public education campaign for firearm restraining orders.
So you'll likely see a lot of these ads being aired on social media, TV, radio, possibly. I'm trying to get a breakdown of just exactly how much this is costing state taxpayers. It also kind of how it's being put out there. Is it primarily TV? Is it primarily social media? Is there a mix of TV and radio? So we'll try to get those numbers out for you. But the campaign starts yesterday with this public service announcement. Here is the Pause to Heal ad that they're sharing. And this is through the Ad Council, IDPH, and the Brady campaign. Let's go ahead and get that volume turned up. And let's do it.
Jay, it's me. I spoke to Mom and Dad. We don't think you should have a gun right now. It's temporary. Things felt dangerous. I think you need to talk to somebody.
I don't know which way to turn.
Jay, you took that first hard step to find someone that can help you on the path to recovery.
You sound good.
I think I see a way through.
Jay!
So again, that's the public service announcements that you could see on various media outlets. It's the Pause to Heal campaign that the Brady campaign, IDPH, and also the Ad Council are putting out there. So talking with Christian Heine, he is with the Brady campaign yesterday. He said that there are examples of how red flag laws have helped prevent violence and death, but there's also examples of where there weren't red flag laws used that caused tragedies to occur. Here's Heine discussing that a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have, unfortunately, a lot of examples of when these orders could have made a difference, and I will just point to, our Pause to Heal campaign. That's the name of this partnership. That's the name of this campaign. It launched in 2024 as sort of an innovative public-private partnership between our entities, right? The Illinois Department of Public Health, Brady, and Ad Council, to try to speak to people who maybe could use this tool if they just knew about it. And what you'll see in these latest 3 ads are exactly what you're asking about. What are the kinds of examples in which these tools have been used effectively to protect loved ones or neighbors or even roommates? And the 3 ads that you're going to see are going to depict real stories where people were able to intervene in these moments of crisis, and as a result, others who are then the respondents to these orders were able to access care that they otherwise had not had access to or had not been prompted to go seek. And so, these ads are trying to speak to the very core of what you're talking about. But I'll tell you just firsthand, I come to this work and to this movement as a survivor of gun violence. My parents were shot in an incident in 2005, 20 years ago. My dad fortunately survived multiple gunshot wounds. My mom, though, was shot and killed with a single bullet to the back. And I do believe that if this tool had existed at the time of our shooting, we potentially could have prevented our shooting from happening in the first place. So, I know that there are impacts on the stories that we hear about when the nation's attention is captured. But there are so many other stories that are happening day in and day out that we don't hear about, particularly with firearm suicide, where these tools have just proven to be wildly effective at preventing suicide and preventing tragedies from occurring in the first place. So that's what we're here to talk about.
So again, that's Christian Heine with the Brady campaign. And Illinois' law recently changed on this. If you recall, the measure that passed the Illinois General Assembly back in January of this year, Senate passes a bill requiring police to confiscate guns in orders of protection cases. And this was from House Bill 4144, known as Karina's Law. It's named after a domestic violence victim who would add the state's existing laws around orders of protection. Currently, the subject of an order of protection must relinquish any firearm in their possession to someone else who's eligible for firearms to be able to hold those, including police. But HB 4144, which the governor did sign, requires police to confiscate firearms from such individuals within a certain time frame. So again, a lot of controversy around that law and a lot of questions about the constitutionality of it. In particular, during debate, you had Illinois State Rifle Association Ed Sullivan and Illinois Federation for Outdoor Resources Josh Witowski talking about the problems they see when it comes to the due process issue. And that due process issue is one where somebody has to be able to face their accuser before a determination can be made to take away their rights. And the concern is this law does not have that ability for somebody to be in court and to face the accusations and to respond to the accusations before the accusations are used to take away their rights. Again, here's Sullivan followed by Witkowski, and this is back in January.
So if we're going to take away a constitutional right, and everybody says we want to follow Rahimi, this bill does not follow Rahimi. And it does not follow Rahimi in relationship to ex parte hearings where the respondent does not, in essence, get a hearing which is required under the Rahimi Supreme Court case. And so
we took a look at 18 U.S.C. 922 G8 in its entirety, of which there are 3 components. Karina's bill meets the last 2 components, but it fails to meet the first component. And the first component is that the accused has the right to defend themselves in a hearing. And that's the issue here, is whether the accused has the right to defend themselves. We have a presumption of innocence in this country. I don't like having to be up here testifying like this on this one because I agree we should not be arming abusers, but you have a right to be found that first.
Again, some of the debates before this measure passed and before the governor signed it into law, which is the basis of the firearm restraining order public service announcements that the Brady campaign with the Illinois Department of Public Health is advocating for. So again, back to Christian Heine from Brady's programs and policy. He talked about the due process question, but he also talked about the question of can these red flags be raised raised arbitrarily, especially, for instance, public figure. Somebody has a problem with what they said. Somebody going to be able to raise a red flag and say, hey, police, go and confiscate their firearms because I raised a red flag. Can it be that arbitrary, or are there checks to prevent that from happening?
Well, look, these firearms restraining orders are not something that's rooted in sort of like a gut feeling, right? They're really the factors that courts consider in these cases are very specifically what evidence and research and epidemiology tell us are the most the highest risk factors for future acts of violence. So, for instance, there's no better predictor of future acts of violence than past acts of violence. Drug and alcohol misuse, violent tendencies and behaviors, domestic violence. These are the things that the courts have to consider. So I'll just say that the orders themselves are, and this was debated, but once again, the reason why the legislature ultimately passed this and why they've been found to be constitutional is they are rooted in the same due process that is provided in domestic violence procedures and protective orders that have been found to be constitutional and exist in all 50 states, right? It intentionally is engaging courts to consider this and getting an actual ruling from law enforcement. And if the criteria or the standards of evidence, if they don't meet those standards in their petition, then the order is denied. And once again, we're not talking about something that's a permanent prohibition. We're not even talking about a criminal procedure. We're talking about a civil process just to temporarily separate an individual from their ability to purchase and possession firearms. If they feel that anything has been done that they disagree with, there's also a robust appeals process. So there is due process pre-deprivation of rights and post-deprivation of rights that really ensure that what we have here is a robust process that is full of due process, that is really just trying to, hey, how do we just temporarily protect somebody who otherwise may pose a risk to themselves or to the public? And that's exactly what the research has borne out on the back end in how these tools have been used. The last thing I'll say is look, we have a study out of Duke that studied and examined the Connecticut order, their risk warrant law, their extreme risk protection order. And for every 10 to 20 orders that were issued, at least one suicide was prevented. And the campus at UC Davis has done a research study looking into a bunch of extreme risk protection orders that were issued in California around potential mass shootings, and has shown the efficacy in preventing those plans from being carried out. So this is a really robust and powerful tool. And the biggest barrier that we have right now is just public awareness.
Again, that's what he was there to discuss with me yesterday about the PSAs that they're going to be putting out, the Pause to Heal campaign that is going to be informing the public about the firearm restraining order laws in Illinois, so-called red flag laws, that the Second Amendment community worries is something that could be a, I guess, slippery slope to people having their rights taken away without having their time in court to face any kind of allegations, even if it is a temporary deprivation of rights. Now, where are we going to see all this? Heine says it's going to be all over.
Yeah, the most important part of what we're talking about today is where people can go to find these resources, right? So if you go to illinois.gov/pause to heal, you're going to be able to see the exact kind of resources that we're talking about. You'll see explanations about what these tools are. You'll be able to see exactly who can petition, what information you need to know in order to learn more if the firearms restraining order is right for you. You'll also be able to see if there are other orders that are relevant to the situation that you are facing, and you'll be able to access the ads that we're talking about here today. I would spend some time and encourage people to just get familiar with the data. What we're trying to do today, and with this partnership with the Illinois Department of Public Health, with the Ad Council, with Brady, is to start a conversation. You know, we know that only about 10% of residents of Illinois are familiar with these firearms restraining orders. These tools are not going to just save lives on their own. It's going to require the public to have a deep understanding of how they can engage with these tools to save the people that are closest to them. And we need that conversation to sort of, we're trying to bump start and jumpstart and initiate those conversations around the kitchen table, at community events, or wherever it is that friends and family may gather. So please go to illinois.gov/pause2heal, soak up this information, see if there is relevant info to be sharing with your neighbors and with your family, because that's ultimately how we're going to be able to meaningfully address this public health crisis.
Again, that's Christian Heine from the Brady campaign. A conversation I had with him yesterday, with the Ad Council joining with the Brady campaign and the Illinois Department of Public Health putting out that Pause to Heal campaign. But as I do give you all sides, you also heard what the opponents of the Illinois firearm restraining order law say. It's Illinois in Focus Daily, each and every weekday morning here, right on YouTube with the Center Square.
An Illinois driver with good credit and a DUI will get a lower premium than a driver with poor credit and no DUI. Safe drivers with a poor credit score pay a whopping $850 more annually than a driver with a DUI.
You could have like a California, where those insurance companies just say, we're done with Illinois, and they leave the state.
It's a bit of the back and forth yesterday after Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Janulius announced the Driving Change campaign to raise awareness about some legislation he says would regulate insurance companies to no longer use zip codes or credit scores or age when it comes to determining auto insurance rates. It's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and wake up with us each and every weekday morning here as we break things down that have happened in Illinois so that you can get your day going. And obviously yesterday, busy day with all kinds of things popping off, but they had a news conference up in Chicago where Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Janulius was joined by State Senator Ron Villavallum and State Representative Rita Mayfield about the Driving Change campaign. He says is going to highlight awareness about the need for insurance regulation.
Last year, our office cited more than 630,000 Illinois drivers without auto insurance. Think about it, 630,000 drivers on our roads without car insurance. So if the purpose of auto insurance is to protect the 8.5 million Illinois motorists, it only makes sense that their driving records serve as the primary factor for setting their rates. Unfortunately, that's not the way it works right now. Instead, safe drivers in Illinois are paying the price for a system that is rigged against them. Currently, insurance companies use a number of factors to determine your premium, including several that have nothing to do with your driving record. The horrible, hard truth is that car insurance companies charge you more for auto insurance based on your credit rating, the neighborhood you live in, and your age. And it really doesn't matter that you're a safe driver.
So Janulius, the Secretary of State, not just the state librarian, but also he says he wants to make sure that roads are safe as somebody who handles driver's licenses and things like that. And of course, Illinois has a law that you have to have at least liability car insurance in order to be on the road. And you can have your license taken away if you don't have at least liability car insurance. But he gives some anecdotes to why he says that it should only be based on somebody's driving record, not on their credit score.
An Illinois driver with good credit and a DUI will get a lower premium than a driver with poor credit and no DUI. Safe drivers with a poor credit score pay a whopping $850 more annually than a driver with a DUI that has excellent credit.
Now, the change that he's looking for has been brought up previously, and it's been something that's been debated here and there, but really hasn't advanced. Something that had teeth in it didn't advance, and something else that would have been like a rate study or a rate review also didn't advance. You got to think about it. Illinois is home to some pretty large insurance companies. I mean, State Farm, for one, and then I think Allstate as well. You've got these very large insurance companies that operate in Illinois. That, you know, State Farm has a home base in Illinois. So do they have a lot of leverage here? I mean, that's something you've got to take into consideration. But he says previous attempts just have not advanced.
We've tried during the past 2 years to pass auto insurance reforms, but have been stymied by the powerful insurance industry. In 2024, we championed legislation prohibiting the use of credit score, zip code, and age over 65 as rate-making factors. Despite passing it out of the House Insurance Committee, the bill was never called for a House vote. So this past spring, we watered down the legislation, this time requesting that we conduct a study on rate-making factors. The bill passed the House 70-39, but the Senate refused to hold a committee hearing on the matter, despite 17 of 59 senators signing on as co-sponsors.
So regardless of the efforts they put underway, they couldn't get it across the finish line. So now Julius says he's got this statewide campaign he's going to run out of his office. That's essentially going to be some town hall meetings, apparently not in any rural areas, which is interesting. We'll hear the Secretary of State's response to, you know, the difference between urban areas and rural areas when it comes to insurance rates. But State Senator Terry Bryant, a Republican from Murfreesboro, said that this is not something that's going to fare well because it could push insurers out of the state of Illinois.
You could have like a California, where those insurance companies just say, we're done with Illinois, and they leave the state.
And she also said that the state needs to be able to allow insurance companies to do the proper checks that they need to do, including for things like credit rating.
Yeah, I think credit score is a good indicator of whether or not you're going to be responsible enough to pay your bills.
So if you've got a good credit score, then, you know, that means you pay your bills on time. And if you don't have a good credit score, that means you probably don't. And the location thing's interesting, right? I mean, Chicago's more congested. Urban areas are more congested. Some, you know, higher crime rates in some areas. Where urban areas, they've got deer in the road and a lot of miles they do drive. But why should that consideration of urban areas with more congestion and more possible claims being filed versus rural areas where you might not have as many? Here's Julius responding to that question from the Center Square's Jim Talamonte yesterday.
I will tell you unequivocally that rural communities, suburbs, downstate, Rockford, are all dealing with carjacking, broken windows, cars being broken into, and to his point, this impacts everyone across the state of Illinois. Our point is, when it comes to driving, when it comes to car insurance rates, it should be based on driving record. It's almost a double punishment. If you live in a poorer neighborhood and you want to get out, you want to climb the economic ladder, you're getting punished twice for living in a tougher neighborhood. You're living in a poorer community and you're paying more because of that. That to me is patently unfair.
Again, the secretary doing this driving change campaign to raise awareness about the push to regulate insurance rates. Is that something that's going to come up in October for veto session, or is it going to wait until January? We're going to see this 6-month push to get this thing for the spring session next year. We'll be watching here with Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop with the Center Square. Go to thecentersquare.com, get headlines in your inbox, and find the podcast where you get podcasts. Just search Illinois in Focus Daily. That's all I got for you guys this morning. Again, a busy day today. We've got the State Fair preview that's going on. We've got Governor Pritzker signing a bill about universal mental health screenings in schools. You've got a House committee that's going to be tackling Chicago public school finances. What else? There's something else. Oh, yeah. Illinois Republicans are going to be holding a virtual news conference to try to hold accountable Governor Pritzker and the Department of Children and Family Services. That's something that's regularly hit upon by Republicans, and why hasn't there been much change? Well, we'll be hearing about that. So those are just some of the things we will get to you tomorrow. So today's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday. Friday's going to be a jam-packed show. So you're going to want to tune in. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell button, wake up with us here 8 o'clock each and every weekday morning for Illinois in Focus Daily. If you can't make the live show with the live chat, which is always a lively place, you can get the podcast. Where you get podcasts, just search Illinois in Focus. Also, don't forget to get the headlines in your inbox. Go to thecentersquare.com. All right, it's a free newswire service for you. Don't just get Illinois headlines. You can get headlines of stuff happening across the country as well. All right, have a great Thursday. We'll see you back here tomorrow for more Illinois in Focus Daily. Jennifer, I agree. The entire state needs to tune into my show. I need a bell. I need like one of those ding, 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 ding. All right, sorry. I know I'm humble, right?